Hello, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Today I'm getting my brew on. I'm playing a Rakdos aggro deck despite the mana base being super sketchy. We're going to have some fun playing this one. Before I get into the deck and talk a little bit about it, I'm going to ask for your continued support. Please sub up if you haven't done so already, and more importantly, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you're going to build when Rakdos actually gets a better mana base when Lorwyn comes out. So what are we doing with this deck? We are leaning into Alesha, who laughs at fate. She is a 2/2 for 3 first striking human warrior that says whenever Alesha attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Then, more importantly, raid at the beginning of your end step. If you attack this turn with any creature, return target creature card with mana value less than or equal to Alesha's power from your graveyard to the battlefield. Alesha's power is going to be 2 when she enters the battlefield, so we've leaned into playing a whole bunch of good 1 and 2 CMC creatures. We have our 4 copies of Rot-Curse Rakshasa. This is probably the main card that we want to be reanimating from our graveyard. This thing is a 5/5 trampler, but it does have decay. That means when it attacks in at the end of combat, it's going to sacrifice itself. But we attack it with our Rot-Curse Rakshasa. It goes to the graveyard. We slam down an Alesha, and we bring back a 5/5 for free. That sounds pretty good to me. We're also playing a couple of copies of Fear of Missing Out. This one is a pretty good one. It's a 2/3 for 2, not bad. But when it enters, it discards a card and then draws a card. So we're going to be able to cycle out some of our less desirable cards that we have in hand or help us dig for something that we need. Then it does have Delirium, but the Delirium, as one of my friends says, is the gravy of this card. We can activate it. We do have artifacts, enchantments, creatures, all this good stuff that can be put into the graveyard. So it is possible to hit Delirium. And in those cases, when we do hit Delirium, we're really going to be popping off. But a lot of the time, we'll probably be missing it because we are pulling stuff out of our graveyard. So there is a bit of a nombo here, but I want to try out the Fear of Missing Out more and more and more just to see if it does belong or doesn't belong in the deck. Then one of my favorite cards from Final Fantasy, Saga Knight. Brynhildr. This thing is wicked. It's a 2/1. Then it has Chain, the first one. Exile the top card of your library. During any turn you put a lord counter on this saga, you may play that card. So it's giving us a little bit of card advantage. And then it has the Gestalt mode. When you next cast a creature spell this turn, it gains haste until the end of turn. So we put this out on turn 2, and then on turn 3, we can put in our Alesha. The Alesha can come in and attack immediately. Pretty great. Then we have some really good 1-drops. Cecil, Forsaken Miner, Clockwork Percussionist. These are all just solid 1 CMC spells that are either having pretty good mana baselines for their mana cost, or drawing us cards like the Clockwork Percussionist. The Percussionist is also an artifact creature for our Delirium on the Fear of Missing Out. And then the Spiteful Hexmage is a very important card in this deck. It is a 3/2 to start, but it comes in, it puts a curse on something. That means the base power of the creature is 1/1. However, we need enchantments on the board because we are playing Disturbing Mirth. Disturbing Mirth says when this enchantment enters, you may sacrifice another enchantment or creature. If you do, draw 2 cards. When you sacrifice this enchantment, manifest a dread. So the first time we get a Disturbing Mirth on the field, we need something to sacrifice. The curse from the Spiteful Hexmage is going to be a fantastic card to do. The Clockwork Percussionist is also a very good card to sacrifice. It's going to give us more cards, and it's just something that we want to get in the graveyard. We could also sacrifice the Brynhildr if it's on maybe Chapter 2. Maybe Chapter 3 is not that important to us. It might be better just to get it into the graveyard. And yeah, eventually we can just keep doing the Disturbing Mirths into more Disturbing Mirths because they just kind of go on top of each other once you do number 2 and number 3 and number 4. And then the card that really motivated me to build this deck was actually Corpses of the Lost. The reason we're playing 2 Forsaken Miners is because we do have the best Skeleton Lord in the standard format right now. Corpses of the Lost, fantastic card. Skeletons you control get +1/+0 and have haste. When this enchantment enters, create a 2/2 pirate skeleton, and then at the beginning of your end step, if you descended means we put something into our graveyard. We are constantly putting stuff into our graveyard. The Disturbing Mirth is going to be sacrificing things. Rot-Curse Rakshasa is going to sacrifice itself. The Summon Brynhildr is going to go into the graveyard by itself. So you can kind of see what we're doing with this. Although we're not really playing a lot of skeletons, we're going to be playing 4 copies of Corpses of the Lost, and it's kind of this engine all on its own. This thing is just going to keep putting out 2/2s that are going to be 3/2s with haste, and we can kind of continually keep casting it out as long as we need to have attackers on board. And of course, all these attackers mean Alesha is going to be getting raid triggers more often. So I think the deck is definitely a work in progress. The land base, as you can see, is really bad. We basically just have the Blazemire's Verge. So we are going to be kind of playing willy-nilly with our life total. We are going to be killing ourselves with Cecil, with this Corpses of the Lost, with the Starting Town and the Multiversal Passage. So we do have to be very aware of our life total, but I think maybe we can make something happen. So we're going to hop into the arena and see how this Rakdos aggro brew ends up playing out. See you over there. Okie dokie. First game up with our Rakdos aggro deck, and I have a lot of faith in this deck. Opening hand looks okay. We have a lot of pieces, and we need to find a red source probably, or a third land will be nice. So I think we just lead on Cecil because that's usually the best card to get on the field right off the bat. Before I forget, if you can help me out, help the channel grow a little bit, sub up if you haven't done so, if you skipped the intro and you missed me making my little sales speech as usual. And let me know what you think about Rakdos, how much you miss or want to see Rakdos get better lands. Okay, we are going to play out the Fear of Missing Out, and we are going to discard something. From here, unfortunately, the Forsaken Miner probably not going to come back. We don't have a lot of ways to trigger the crime. I think probably the Percussionist is going to be the weakest card in our deck right now, or in our hand. So we'll get rid of that. We find another Spiteful Hexmage. But what we want to find is a land. Hey, look at that. So what does Golgari mana like that mean? I don't know. Okay. We're going to throw down the Corpse of the Lost. The reason I'm going to do this is because if they end up murdering one of these two things, the Corpse of the Lost is going to come back to hand. Now, if they decide to kill the 3/2 skeleton, that's okay. We can... Okay, that's fine. Maybe the opponent's like, oh my god, they have a Fear of Missing Out. I have to take the artifact creature out of the graveyard so they don't get delirium. But you know what? That's not the game plan. The game plan is Alesha, which... The fact that the opponent in game 1 has Graveyard Hate against my Alesha deck is a little annoying, but it is what it is. All right, well, opponent, what are you doing? I don't see a lot of Sunken Citadel. Oh, Maelstrom Pulse on my poor thing there. Ouch, that's aggressive. Okay, Summon Brynhildr coming out onto the field, drawing us another card. What is it? It's a Disturbing Mirth. That's going to be good for the following turn. So let's get in for 6 damage. The opponent down to 7 already. And I don't think they have a board wipe. I'm going to hope that they don't have a board wipe. What are we going to put this on? Let's put this onto... Well, let's put it onto the Spiteful Hexmage. He is spiteful towards himself. And next turn, if the Summon Brynhildr is still around, which it should be, it's going to allow me to cast out the Mirth. It's also going to allow me to cast out the Spiteful Hexmage with haste. It's huge. I would like to get the Alesha out, but I think it's probably better to do it this way. Okay, let's free our boy. Now that I'm thinking about it, if I put out the Spiteful Hexmage, it will... I can put it on this, actually. It's not a big deal, right? Yeah, let's put this out on the Summon Brynhildr. It's going to gain haste. So turn a 2/1 into a 1/1, but it's going away next turn, so who cares? And this is a pretty good attack. What do you have, opponent, with 4 open mana? I don't know. They're down to 7 life. They got to do something huge. Also, Cecil potentially flipping here. They don't have it. Pretty good. Urgent Necropsy. But still, we get in for 8 damage to their 7 life. That's a pretty good performance. That's what we want to see from this Rakdos deck. And we didn't even see Alesha hitting the field. Even though the opponent had some... Well, they didn't have great interaction. They had some good cards. Yeah. A little bit weak start from the opponent and just 2 aggro from us. Cool. I was trying to justify the power of the deck at the end of that video, or the end of that last game. They did have 3 removal spells for our stuff, so that's pretty good, actually. Okay. Hey, Percussionist. We get our 3rd land, so that means we can go Percussionist into Rakshasa into Alesha. That's going to be pretty good if it works out. Let's hope so. The opponent is on Dimir. Sorry, hit my desk. Dimir could be a problem for us. So let's see. Oh my god, they're going to kill the Percussionist. Please kill the Percussionist. Yeah, you got to get rid of it. It's very threatening. Please murder it. All right, that's fine. We're still going to throw out the Rakshasa. You just throw it down. If they have, like, no more lies, I guess they could, in theory, have no more lies. I was about to say, there's probably not going to have no more lies with this mana base, but hey, proven me wrong, opponent. Oh my god. That's actually devastating. It's really bad for us. Whoa! They also have, what is going on with this opponent's deck? Okay, we're in trouble. So I'm gonna put out the Alesha just to have something on the field. We've drawn 6 lands. The opponent has No More Lies and Lightning Helix with probably black removal on board as well. And I think I might just be getting taken apart here. What was that? Okay. Okay. Let's do the fear of missing out. It's fine. We're gonna throw away a land, of course. And we find a backup Alesha. That's not the worst thing for us. We are gonna get our percussionist back here. And the Alesha's getting in for 3. Okay. So here you can see kind of like the non-bow between fear of missing out and the clockwork percussionist, but I think it's fine. We mostly just want to use this to get stuff into our graveyard. Are they going to murder the Alesha? Kind of seems that way, doesn't it? Maybe they have another lightning helix that they want to use on it. Okay. Let's attack. Sure, inevitable defeat. So I could kill the Alesha and gain 3 life. I think I'd rather use the Bitter Triumph to murder. I know this is crazy, probably, but I want to use it to murder the Alesha. I don't care about my life total. Actually, I don't mind putting stuff into the graveyard, or I don't need to put stuff in the graveyard right now. So let's do that. Blank the 3 life, attack in for a good amount, and then put out a second Alesha. I feel like that was a desperation play from the opponent. Next turn, we have instant, legendary creature, and basic land in the graveyard. We don't have enchantment. Oh, too bad. We don't have enchantment or artifact. Okay, now I could... Do I want to kill my percussion? No, that's getting a little bit too crazy, right? I want to give my fear of missing out double 2 combats, right? If I get rid of this, if I put that in the graveyard, or if I kill my clockwork percussionist, I do trigger that. I think it's probably fine just to do it this way. Maybe I should have put out the other percussionist. It has haste though. I'm gonna save it for next turn. I don't know why I wanted to save it, but I am gonna save it. This is crazy to me. Their land base is murdering them, actually. So they have to be very careful about what they do. Okay, percussionist onto the field. We're going to be attacking for 6. They probably have to take a good amount of damage from their starting towns just to stop this attack. Do they just let it through? They go down to 1 with 2 starting towns? Okay. Can they just not cast something though now? So they're cut off of white and red mana. Consult the star charts. Okay. They had such a weak hand. I wonder if I really should have tried to play towards getting the Delirium on the fear of missing out there, so I could have had a double combat. I bet they're sitting there thinking that they can't do much because of these 2 starting towns. But they do have the demolition field, so they can destroy something. They go out on their own terms. Wow. That was such a weird game, wasn't it? Okay. Next one. I've kind of lost track of games. I don't know if that was the second or the third game. For some reason, I kind of feel like I spaced out for a moment and I lost track of things. Okay. Can you imagine you have 2 Verges, or you have like 4 cards in the deck that don't work properly, and it's the 2 Verges here. This means that only our Spiteful Hexmage is castable, but if I find a land, the Disturbing Mirth can destroy that thing. This hand goes so hard with a land. We're on the draw. I'm going to try it. Let's push this deck to its absolute limit and see if it can. You know what? Hey, Cecil's better than the Spiteful Hexmage, I think. Land still means that we put out probably the Summon Brynhilder. And our opponent has a Dare of Ruby. I love Ruby. Not enough people play this card. such a fan of it. Oh, okay, okay, okay. So we miss. We have like one more turn to find proper lands. Okay. Spiteful Hexmage. It can put the counter on, probably on itself. It's fine. Not the counter, but the curse token. That's wild. That's wild. Okay, okay. Sure, sure. Yeah, Ruby having haste, it comes in as a mana dork that you can use right away. And now the opponent has 4 mana. They can have an Ouroborite on this turn. That's okay. Whoa! Not only are we having mana problems, well, we found our fix for the mana problem, but it's not exactly a fix, is it? And on top of, yeah, wow. Okay, I'm gonna attack? I don't know. This is probably a stupid attack, but I'm gonna do it. And then we're gonna slam the Alesha, but I'm pretty sure I'm just dead. How do I beat this, considering I had a little bit of a slow start to things? We'll put this on the Cecil, sure. And at least I have a 3/2, but everything's gonna get +2/+2, and yeah, man, I respect this. This is cool. This is a neat looking Gruul deck from our opponent. This comes in, has haste, and it becomes an artifact creature until the end of turn when it enters. Oh my goodness. You know what? Sometimes you don't mind getting hit real hard. They're going for it. So this is 15 points of damage, isn't it? No. We block here. All right. Had to block. Down to 5, and we are pretty much toast right now. We got them down to 6, but my goodness. You know what? I think even if I didn't stumble on land, I'm not sure I would have been able to make anything happen in this matchup. Bitter Triumph's good. Bitter Triumph allows me to get the Ouroborite off the field. It's just not good enough, right? Because what do? I attack here. They block with the Leyline Weaver. We go down to 3. Yeah. And then even if I do use the Bitter Triumph to kill the Ouroborite, they still have a 4/5 and all that other good stuff. So yeah, I can do that. We'll go through the motions. It doesn't matter which one I throw away. Yeah, let's throw away this one. And we'll bring back, I guess I could bring back Cecil, right? And Cecil can do something. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what we do here. All right, GG opponent. That's a really cool thing from the opponent there. Using Ruby to great success. Yikes. Should be game number 4. Van der Dorf. Sounds good. No more. I don't really want to see any more Badger Mole Cub. I'm kind of over that card. No more lessons, no more Badger Mole Cub, please. Hey, we get to see our Rakshasa. Hopefully we find the Alesha, and then we can start bringing it back. That's the goal. That's what we want to see happen at some point. Hey, did I say I don't want to see lessons? Yeah, I think I did. Cecil onto the field. Not a terrible card against the lessons deck, but this is going to be a little bit of a rough. Ooh, not lessons. Okay. Usually as soon as I see Multiversal Passage on blue, I make the assumption. Okay, let's get in. They don't have anything, so let's summon Brynhildr, and that means maybe next turn Rot-Curse Rakshasa can come down with haste. They might have a No More Lies. Everybody packing 16 No More Lies in their deck. It seems like no Azorius deck is without a No More Lies in their opening hand. It's impossible. you get your immediate value with your 2 mana counterspell every single time. I hate it. I hate it so much. So, you know, I talked about hand disruption in one video recently, how some people get super tilted when people disrupt their hand. I get super tilted when I see massively efficient counterspells. This is just a better counterspell, right? Which is crazy. Counterspell 2 blue doesn't exile the thing. Pay 3, nobody's paying 3. It's just counterspell. It's crazy to me that this is counter target spell, not like non-creature spell or only creature spell. That's my rant for today. Thank you for coming. All right, we're gonna attack in on the Steam Core Scholar and excuse me. Yeah, okay. I thought that was a pretty free attack. So now I have to make a choice. Do I put out the Spiteful Hexmage and Disturbing Mirth, or Brynhildr into Hexmage and then next turn Rakshasa? I think I'm okay with the Brynhildr. We get our land. So next turn, probably we're going to be able to put the land out, and then that means we can go Rakshasa with haste and Disturbing Mirth to remove the curse. Man, they could have done a better job with the with the art on this. I haven't really looked at it, but it must be like part of something else. I wonder, do all the curses like come together to make something? I wonder. Okay, well, they allow us to put out our land. That's some good news. And, okay. We're going to try to do the Disturbing Mirth first. I think they probably have a counterspell for it. I would rather them counter my card draw than my Rakshasa. I love saying Rakshasa, by the way. It's such a, yeah, just fun. Look at the effect on this card. You don't really see that very often, do you? Ooh. Aang, Swift Savior. What? Okay. Bouncing. That's interesting. Okay. So I don't have to sacrifice something. I think it's fine to get rid of the Brynhildr. I'd rather draw 2 cards. Yeah, sure. And we're still getting trample or haste with our trample and haste with our big boy here. However, do I really want to put it in the graveyard? Yeah, I mean, we're going to do that. Why wouldn't we? Okay. Do they double block on the Cecil? That would be crazy, wouldn't it? We're going to drop down to 12. It's potentially next turn we can get our Cecil to flip, but I think probably it's just going to get bounced. I think that was a really heads-up play by the opponent, by the way. Aang into the Spiteful Hexmage, bouncing that. I kind of like that play. But we were not going to be able to attack in with the Brynhildr anyways, with the 2-3 Swift Savior there. Wow. I don't think you block here. Yeah. So they go down to 7. We go down to 12. We lose our Rakshasa. We do have some haste stuff, and we do have another land for the following turn. But we're going to need to find an Alesha or something. We really haven't got the engine online where we keep bringing stuff back with the Alesha and that. Ooh, Quantum Riddler. If they are able to bounce it this turn, that's going to be huge value for them. Kind of feels like they don't have the bounce for it, though. Whoa. Okay, so they have 2 mana open. They missed their land drop. Ooh, we find a Corpses of the Lost. Yeah, Corpses of the Lost into Forsaken Miner. Hopefully this lands. No. Every time with the no more lies. Okay, we're going down to a very cozy 6. But we do flip our Cecil. And then from here, we're certainly not going down anymore. So we'll just put out our Forsaken Miner and this on red, enter tapped. Please and thank you. So they're at 5, we're at 6. The Rakshasa's graphic is blinding. Some people say, a friend of mine says, I don't know how you never know what your life total is. Look at the graphic. How can anybody know what the life total is? It's completely obscured. Come on, Rakshasa, be better than that, right? It's 6. We got this guy flashing his snake, I guess. All right, we are in a lot of trouble here. Don't get me wrong. We're down to 2, so we can't do... There are a lot of things in our deck that actually kind of hurt us. Bitter Triumph is interesting. Let's... I can't Bitter Triumph. I'd have to get rid of one of the Percussionists. So is it just better? They have to have a bounce for the Cecil, right? I think I'm going to attack like this. I'm going to hold the Percussionist in hand just in case there's a disaster, but I have a feeling they're going to bounce the Cecil. When they bounce the Cecil, we lose. We just straight up lose. But that's our only hope. So the Redeemed Paladin has to gain 4 life here. If the Redeemed Paladin isn't able to gain 4 life here, it's game over. 3 steps ahead. They're going to create a... Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. We blank. We blank, they're 3 steps ahead. We gain 4 life. We put the opponent in a bad spot where they have to block the Cecil. So they're losing their Steam Core Scholar, going down to 2. And we can actually play out the Spiteful Hex Mage on top of that. That was a huge swing for us, being able to blank the 3 steps ahead. Oh my god. So holding back the Clockwork Percussionist with haste was genius. I did it. I'm a smart boy. Sometimes. Usually not. Man, this might be one of the first times I've seen a Cecil actually gain life. This card is so fantastic, but the Redeem Paladin side always gets dealt with when it flips. I don't know if I've ever actually seen it do something. They desperately Steam Core Scholar Helping Hand back to the field. They're going to discard 2 cards, draw 2 cards. Oh my gosh, they had another No More Lies. They have so many No More Lies. I hate 3 of them so far in their opening 18 cards, of course. But now they just have a Friendly Flyer and a Quantum Riddler. They're drawing a card. They're going to be down to 1 more land, but I think they haven't made their land drop for the turn. And we take down Vanderdorf. What a game. That was a fun game. But no Alesha. Still, no Alesha. And I think that's game number 4, unless I missed one. Man, this Rakdos aggro deck is so fun to play. I remember having a ton of fun with it the last time I played it, and I'm just having a blast playing it again. Okay, lands are good. We have a little interaction. We have our Alesha. We have our Percussionist to maybe go and find us more stuff. I don't hate this. We are against probably, is it Mill? I don't know what Mistrise Village means, but we'll get in. No more lands. I don't think we want more than 4 or 5 lands in this deck. We need more stuff to be able to put into the graveyard and start pulling it out with the Alesha. A Rakshasa would be the best thing right now. How do I feel about a Brynhilder? Not bad, I think. Okay, another land. Man, all the starting towns finding their way into my opening 10. Not what you want to see. Although we do have the Cecil, so killing ourselves is not such a bad deal. Okay, oh, we are against Jeskai this time. Okay, so we could put out the starting town and just take damage. Yeah, are we just taking damage? We're just taking damage. So we're going to throw the Alesha if they have the counterspell for the Alesha. If they have a Boros Charm, Lightning Helix. They might have a Lightning Helix for the Alesha to get it off the field before it can attack. They're going to gain some life. It's something we're going to have to fight through. It feels like a Lightning Helix to me. It's a Fire Magic. Oh. The deck's been playing pretty well, so I guess it's only appropriate that for some reason we're going to run into a Fire Magic deck. Oh, that's a 1%er. The thing is, it's not so bad. Although they might have... they still have 3 open mana. That's the problem. We can attack in with the Clockwork Percussion. I'm going to try this. I think I have to be filled with hope. I'm going to put out a second Alesha. If it lands, I can get back the Summon Brynhilder. But I have a feeling maybe this deck is just like made to destroy me. Cute. Oh, they're going to gain 2 life and scry 2. I thought they were going to exile Graveyard. That's surprising. So we get back our Brynhilder. Oh, okay. Hey, Rakshasa. And Rakshasa is going to come back with haste with the Brynhilder as long as they don't have a second Fire Magic. Who's Fire Magic with Cutzel Flanker? Man, somebody hurt this person. And this person decided, you know what, I'm going to come with some Fire Magic. We're bringing firepower to the arena, and we're stopping everybody. There's the Lightning Helix. So we're just going to, in general, have a really hard time in this matchup. What do I need off the top? Another Alesha would be fantastic. Could we do that, maybe? Ooh, they shock it in, and we get these 2 Bitter Triumphs. These 2 Bitter Triumphs are really bad for us. What are they really going to do? They don't have a No More Lies because they don't have white mana open. So this thing's going to come in. It's going to have haste. And I guess I'm just going to attack with the whole team. Our Rakshasa is going to decay, but, you know, we're going to take them down to 10, potentially. Boom, boom, boom. They do have 3 cards in hand, not the most threatening thing. But we've lost our engine because we lost 2 of our... This sucks. We lost 2 of our Aleshas. We desperately need to find 1 more. Put the curse on the Clockwork Percussionist. It doesn't really matter. And they find another white source. So they're probably going to be in pretty good shape to do whatever they want with us. This feels like a board wipe, right? This is going to be like an Ultima. Is it Ultima? No. Okay. But we have nothing. We have nothing. I could kill the Clockwork Percussionist, I guess. Okay. It might be worth it to try to get rid of the flanker. Just to save a little bit of life. Because what else am I really going to do? And you know what? I would rather keep 3 life than hold on to this Bitter Triumph. Did I play a land last turn? I think I played a land last turn. I shouldn't have played it. I should have held on to it knowing that I had the Bitter Triumphs in hand and that I would have to sacrifice or discard them for this Bitter Triumph because they're going to have this. Yikes. They come in, gain some life, scry probably. And they could exile our graveyard. I think they're going to scry though. Okay. I'm actually better with them exiling our graveyard than gaining life because this gives me a little bit of play. That's not what you want to see though. I can't attack. I can't do anything. Okay. So one of these creatures has to go in front of one of the flankers and then I'm going to try to pay 3 life, but this might actually just put me into... It might put me into like Lightning Helix kill me range. Yeah, unfortunately, their spells were just a little bit too... They got too much value from their spells for what we had. And we drew too many lands. Too many lands. Can I just put it in? Oh, I wanted to put it in and kill myself. I put it on green. I was just clicking. This game is over? How is this game not over? Okay. So you're telling me there's a chance here. That's a bad card. That's a really bad card to draw right now. Okay, we're going to keep it in hand. I shouldn't have put this out on green when I was just fooling around and clicking on things because I thought, you're down to 1 against this deck. Surely they have some kind of way of dealing 1 more damage to you. But now I have a bunch of starting towns that I can't use and my mana is going to be very strained. Yeah, this should be on black probably. I don't think it's going to matter in the end. They have Ancient Vendetta. Okay. Okay, choose a card name. What are they going to choose? Comment. What do you think the opponent's choosing? Because I have no idea what they could possibly be choosing here. Rotten Mouth Viper. Whoa, they put me on a totally different deck. Oh. I don't know. That's okay. Okay, fear of missing out. We get to cycle this swamp, right? And then Summon Brynhilder's actually pretty good here. Okay, okay. Man, if this were... I would have put this out on black, so it didn't matter, actually. But this potentially gives me... What? No, 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 no. No, surely not. Surely not. The surprise Corpses of the Lost... There's no way that this 3 damage goes through. They... No. Decline. We're not bringing the Corpse of the Lost back to our hand. We don't have life for that. But what we could do is sacrifice it with the Disturbing Mirth. We don't have haste right now because our Summon Brynhilder didn't get to that point. But we do have... That's good. We'll put out the Percussionist for more damage. And then attack in with the Fear of Missing Out and the Percussionist. Untap the Fear. I suppose it's more damage. Aetherize. What a game. What a game. What a game. What a game. Okay, we're going to put the... We can only put out one. We're going to put out the Summon Brynhildr. Man, this turned into a battle. What does the opponent have in their hand? How poorly have they drawn? Okay, we still have our cursed cursed green mana. It could have been a black source. It could have been a black source. And I know before I get to kill them, no. That's insane. It's insane. I was gonna say they were gonna definitely draw the lightning helix and blow me out before. I don't know. This whole game was a fever dream. 2 fire magics, Aetherize. They couldn't find another lightning helix. Wow. There's something to be said about playing fun decks or decks that you enjoy playing, because I'm having the time of my life playing this deck right now. And you going up against unique things, even that last deck, though, is something I don't particularly like. Let's put out the mountain, I suppose, first. It doesn't matter. We're going to go out with the Fear of Missing Out. Ooh. We could be in trouble here. Maybe I was so locked into putting the Fear of Missing Out on the field that I didn't really stop to think. It's a big problem I have. Maybe I should have held up the Bitter Triumph to stop the inevitable Shelter by Ghost. Okay, well, we don't get punished too hard. Seam Rip. Now, we can't do anything about that Seam Rip. That's on the field forever, unfortunately. So our Fear of Missing Out never coming back. They can get in and they... Oh, you know what? The Veteran Survivor is actually a little bit annoying because the Veteran Survivor is going to be eating our graveyard. So I kind of feel like even if I draw a land here, I need to use the Bitter Triumph. Summon Brynhildr, though, gives me a shot at finding a land. I think I need to... Oh, no. Oh, no. It's so bad. Okay, what are we going to put in the graveyard? I think I'll put one of the Aleshas in the graveyard, I suppose. I'm going to try to hit it. They might have Shard Mage's Rescue. It kind of feels like they do. But this Voice of Okay. All right. We need a land or we are very dead. It's a land. It's a land at the very least. Okay, we're going to shock it in. Yep, that hurts. And I think we're going to play out the Corpse of the Lost, and it's a blocker. It's a blocker. Okay, it feels bad to put out a Corpse of the Lost and not attack with the skeleton. Shelter by Ghost. Okay. So the opponent did have everything. It was the correct read to try to remove something, but no, I don't think this game was going to go my way. After that last game, I got to get punished a little bit. And from here, we see one more draw, and I think we scoop it up because it's a good card. But what do you do? We're down to 5. We're going to take so much damage. GG, opponent. Dang. That's why Mono White Auras is the most played deck. It is something to be reckoned with. Okay. Assuming I didn't miss a game, which I'm still suspicious if I forgot to write down a game between games 2 and 3. I believe this is game number 7. It could be game number 8. We'll see when we go to edit things. And yeah, we got to try to make something happen here. Unfortunately, no white or red mana. We'll have to hurt ourselves a little bit with this Percussionist, but I think I'm okay attacking in with it. They're not going to block with it. They're also not going to attack with the Land of War Elf, so why not get them down to 19? And they are on, of course, Golgari. Ooh, baby. Okay. So from here, we have a couple of choices, but I think actually the only real choice to make is Fear of Missing Out, and we're going to put the Summon Brynhildr into the graveyard. We draw land, we find our mountain, that's what we needed. So next turn, there's a very good chance that the Alesha can come in after the Fear of Missing Out has attacked. Okay, that's fine. They're probably going to take the Bitter Triumph. They take the Alesha, which is smart because it is going to slow me down for one turn. And then, oh, I love it. I love it. Mosswood Dread Knight is one of the best. So we do get to play out a mountain. From here, what are we doing? I want the Alesha back. So is it just play Cecil and then Bitter Triumph, take out the Deep Cavern Bat, and then next turn attack in with the Cecil to bring back the Summon Brynhildr and go from there? I think that's probably what we're doing. Hopefully they don't have another Deep Cavern Bat, because I want to wait on... I'll let this hit me. I want to wait until the end step to kill the Deep Cavern Bat. That way they can't, you know, put out another Deep Cavern Bat in the second main phase and grab the Alesha one more time. But if they do have a Deep Cavern Bat that they play out right now, I guess I'm going to be forced to put out the Bitter Triumph. So if I kill... if I kill the Deep Cavern Bat, they just take the Alesha one more time. Okay. Well, then in that case, do we just kill this thing? When this creature dies, you may cast it from your graveyard for an adventure until the end of your next turn. So they're gonna... That loses them a life. Does that matter? Man, them having the Deep Cavern Bat is a really big problem for me. Okay. Whatever. Let's get the the Mosswood Dread Knight off the field at the very least. They're gonna take probably the Corpses of the Lost. Yeah, I don't know. That them having the second Deep Cavern Bat was a problem. They needed to not have it. I knew it was going to be a problem, and they ended up having it anyways. But now they're in a position where they are going to have to maybe chump block something. I'm not sure. And you know what? I think I can get... I'm going to play probably the Disturbing Mirth to sacrifice the Percussionist to give my fear of missing out the Delirium, and then I can essentially double strike with the Cecil, and the Cecil will then flip on the following turn. They have the Scavenging Ooze. Oh my gosh, it's actually great. So now I need to do these things now before they start eating stuff with the Delirium. Okay, Mirth, do your thing. Find me some money. They're not the worst. Okay, and we get a Corpse of the Lost, which unfortunately, you may play it until the end of your next turn. Okay. So, no, we do have time to... We do have time. So, Cecil probably flipping here. I don't see them putting two things in front of it. They could put the Scavenging Ooze and the Llanowar Elf in front of it, but that would be... Oh, okay. Please, please, please give me your Scavenging Ooze. Okay. I don't know about this. Oh, they still have... I'm sorry, I'm dumb. I forgot that the Llanowar Elf was giving them 1 mana. So I'm the dumb one. Okay, still. I'm going to attack one more time, and if they want to give me the Scavenging Ooze, I want to get rid of it, because I don't want them eating my whole graveyard. They do only have 1 green source, so they might be incentivized to do that, and we are going to go down to 9 doing this. No, they let it through. Interesting. Okay. From here, let's put out the Summon Brynhildr. And that means our Rakshasa, Rot-Curse Rakshasa, or that Rakshasa, will have haste on the following turn. And now our Cecil is flipped. As long as they don't have removal for the Cecil, we might be okay. They do only have the ability to eat 1 thing with the Scavenging Ooze to make it a 4/4. Bitter Triumph. I think we're toast here. If somebody saw a different line in this game, I would love to know it, but I don't know. I feel like we were kind of behind the ball as soon as they had the Deep Cavern Bats to pick apart our Alesha, and then all that spot removal put us in not a lot of spot removal. I don't know. This game felt weird to me. But the fact that an opponent just happens to have some residual graveyard hate is pretty nutty. Yeah, you may as well eat. They may as well eat something. Take me down to 2. I don't see why not do that. Yeah. And then there's no way I can deal 15 points of damage to the opponent here. They draw a card. 14 points of damage. They're helping me a little bit. 12 points of damage. They're helping me a little bit. I can do quite a bit of damage, but it's just not good enough. So Disturbing Mirth, get rid of the other Disturbing Mirth just to see what the other two cards are. We find all of our Rakshasas, but the problem is I am going to take lethal damage in the air. So good game, opponent. That was fun. It was a good one, but we're toast. Ending on a loss, a little bit disappointing, but at least the opponent had a cool Golgari deck. I really love seeing, you know, Mossborn, Dread Knight, and that cool stuff. All right, so the Rakdos aggro deck feels pretty good to me. I think there could be a little bit of changes here and there, but honestly, I like the way it plays. I wish the mana base were a little bit better because I feel like I was just doming myself in so many games or just having awkward mana bases. Interestingly, I didn't mention this in the intro. Case of the Stash Skeleton is a card that was cut from the deck. I could maybe go into the deck. I'm not sure. Maybe instead of Fear of Missing Out, we could lean a little bit more into the skeleton idea. Maybe go up to Forsaken Miners, go up 4 of the Case of the Stash Skeleton. But I'm not sure. So the deck is a little bit split between the Alesha bringing stuff back raiding plan and the skeleton stuff. And unfortunately, in these sets of games, this set of games, didn't really see the Corpses of the Lost really doing too much. One game it did come in for a win at the very end, but that was a very awkward game, and honestly, I don't even know if I should have won that game in the end. The opponent drew badly, I drew badly, I just drew ever so slightly less poorly than the opponent. But I do think there's something here. When Lorwyn comes out, we're definitely going to have a little bit better mana base. We can get rid of, like, probably the starting towns are the ones that are going to get cut. We're still not great. Imagine that. Like, the only... Like Rakdos. Rakdos is in shambles with its lands. What do we have? We have the Verge, and we have the, okay, creature land, whatever, and we have the Theater, but we're not going to play the Theater in a deck like this. So for some colors to have a shock land, a Verge, and a fast land, and then you have Rakdos here with a single Verge. It's like, man, oh man, did they mess up when they were deciding the distribution of lands for at least a period of time. Feels bad to play, but the deck is cool. I think there's a lot here, and I would love to see this deck fleshed out a little bit more. I just love the interaction between Alesha and Rot-Curse Rakshasa, even though we didn't get to see it happen. Ran into some weird graveyard hate too randomly. So I think if you played more games with this deck, you'd see how it is kind of cool. There's definitely something here. Let me know if you have any advice for it. What I'm looking at is the Fear of Missing Out, not the hottest card, I think, and then maybe even the Cecil. It hurts. It hurts. Anyways, I've been talking a lot today. That's it for this one. Take care for now. Enjoy your day. Sarang ipana, and I will certainly catch you in the next video. Look forward to that one. Bye-bye.